We all know Skylar's better than Tua.
And
So
Tyler,
at
our
the end of the
fuse,
day,
like,
What?
we all know Skylar's better than Tua. So at the end of the day,
What? What?
she didn't hear it, Mary.
what'd you say? No. What'd you say? What did you say?
Nothing.
Can you confirm right now
Uh-oh.
that Skylar Thompson is not a better quarterback than Tua?
But if it happens again,
there's concussions every single weekend.
agree.
Nobody
Every
talks about it unless it's Tua. And it's
I agree.
absolutely insanity. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. Leave Tua's health alone. Worry about your own health.
I get it.
And
but
I'm not telling you. I'm telling the general public.
Yeah.
Start worrying about your own health. You're saying Tua can't play in a cold game.
No, he can't play good football when the weather is 30, 40 or below.
29 degrees. He was 17 for 30, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 104 rating.
He looks better in this system for McDaniel, but who's to say the system is good enough overall?
Who's to say that it's Tua that makes it that
Tua
elevates
does make this system.
Tua
it's his
elevates
system.
everyone around him.
You're gonna see the best tweets you've ever seen in your life.
You better not be hating. Hello, Sideliners, and thank you so much for joining us. Today we have a special guest, TD from TD Phins Talk. You guys know him. You've heard of him.
You might hate him.
You might hate him. A few may love
all right.
him. A lot hate him, maybe. We're here because we are a mature group of people who can have healthy conversations
That
about
M-word.
differing opinions. So we're going to have some differing opinions, and we're going to do it in a mature manner. TD, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And those words are actually like that was a breath of fresh air, mature conversation, something that's missing. But first off, thank you guys for having me on. I love your work. Continue to do it. When you guys go missing, we all hate it. That's just the truth. Yeah, guys have an excellent idea over here. Just keep it rolling. We just want to see great content. Content creators like content too. So this is one of my go-tos, and I love what you guys are doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And one of my golden rule things is what I've learned a lot about is I know we throw in that word hate, but you know what? It's like, why hate, you know? And this is a time for us to bridge that gap and show the kindness that, yeah, we might have differing opinions and you might come off a certain way on Twitter, but it's all love here. We all got one same goal, which is to get the Dolphins to the Super Bowl. Or to win a playoff
and
game.
win it.
Win
And
a
I want to
playoff
be fair.
game.
I want to be fair for anyone who uses the term "I hate that guy" or whatever. I want to be fair to them. You know, it's not 100% undeserved. You know, I will say that. You know, I am an instigator. I am a person who likes to have fun and
There's
shake the
word
tree.
instigator.
So, well, yeah, you know, so it's not 100%. You know, like, oh, these people are just. You know, I get it too sometimes. But maybe this show can let people know that I get it. So, yeah, let's do it.
Well, speaking of getting it and all of that hate, I decided to pull some mean tweets.
Right into it.
We're going to jump right into it.
I don't have any because I had you muted. We didn't even interact. I think you might have said something mean to me
You're
once.
missing the greatness, Mary.
I know.
The greatness that will drive you crazy.
I'm trying to be like sunshines and rainbows over here.
I hear you.
So hard on Twitter. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I try to tell people I'm not for everybody. Trust me, you know. So
I unmuted you though, so we're making progress.
Ooh,
I told Mary
my best
that follow
behavior.
back.
I did tell Mary, I was like, Mary, you should just create like a burner account so you can
just let loose people.
At least be up to date on all the dramas, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the mean tweets. After the Patriots game, and hold on, before we talk about the mean tweets and we bring it up, I do want to bring up something because it was talked about a lot, and I think even you brought it up. I know people in your comments, your viewers, your subscribers, your followers brought it up that we are gassing the Patriots win. I see it a different way. It's not so much who we played, and who we beat. It's the fact that this team is finally playing the way that we expected them to play. It's
Week
complementary
1, 2, 3,
football.
4, 5.
Yeah, it's complementary football. It's the play calling is so much better. It's players executing. It's all of those things. So it's not this win wasn't about who we beat, even though it's a great win. It's a division rivalry. Tua is still undefeated against the Patriots. It's the way that we're executing and playing right now and coming together as a team. So I wanted to make that clear.
Well, I actually agree with that. You know, the team the last not 3 weeks, just because there were wins, but the last 4 weeks, in my opinion, have
Yep.
been excellent for the most part. I feel like we went toe to toe with the Bills, which showed improvement over that first loss that we had. I
Mhm.
feel like Tua outplayed Josh Allen, you know, in that game, with the exception of that late run by Josh Allen, the heroics. And overall, I think that Mike McDaniel, something happened in that locker room. Not sure what it was, especially when Mostert got benched and things like that,
I
where
like that.
this
That
team,
was
exactly. I
yeah.
think it might have, maybe this is the finally that tough little piece that shows nobody's exempt. You know, so what happened right after that? The penalties dropped drastically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the discipline, the focus. Calais Campbell, you can see him stepping up as a leader, you know, in
I
that
love
locker
him.
room over everybody.
Yeah.
The defense is playing team football, bending but not breaking, and making some plays when it matters most. And
Chop.
yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
you even getting some Chop Robinson sightings, and we've been able to maintain on the boundary in the corners regardless of the injuries that we sustained. So the team is playing some excellent football. Now, in regards to the level of competition, for me personally, there's two ways to look at it. You can only play who you play, and at the
Mhm.
end of the day, we've shown that this team can look bad against bad teams too. So you
Yeah.
got to give them their kudos for looking good, doing what they were supposed to do against bad teams. And it's not to say that these are bad teams, because you also have to understand how we're beating them. We're doing it impressively. You
Mhm.
know, so that's another good positive takeaway. But people like myself, with my message about naming the three teams, it's the other, and I will say the other side, because there are sides here out here in the Dolphins community. Okay. I
Mm.
would say a lot of people are making this more so about Tua instead of the team success. Now, it is true that Tua is playing phenomenal, out of his mind right now. Like, but the argument is, we've seen it before. And let's take the word argument out. The fact of the matter is, we've seen this before. I remember 2 years ago, Lions, Bears, Browns. I don't think there was a better run from Tua than those games right there, where he absolutely lit it up. Last year, early in the season, 70 on different. Like, there's been moments like this. It does not discount from what we've done the last few weeks.
Right.
But we know where we run into our roadblocks as an organization, as a team. And this Thursday night is a warm-up test for it. And
Right.
that's why we got to point that out, because sometimes you got to test it. What we're seeing is great now. Now go do that against Green Bay, so that we can remove doubt from even the doubters.
Mhm.
You
But
know, so that's where I'm at with it.
do you think that it's still going even if we win this game, do
Mhm.
you think that it's going to stop the I feel like it's just gonna move the posts. Like, there's gonna be some type of excuse, there's gonna be some type
Mhm.
of reasoning, it's gonna be something. I don't see
I say let's just win it first.
I agree.
I agree, yeah.
Because Brittany, here's how I look at it. If we win this game and Tua plays well, right?
Mhm,
I think you're going to get a large portion of the fan base that gives respectable credit to it. But as far as, is it going to get rid of, naysayers? Is it going to get rid of TD from not believing? It's going to make me feel better, and it's going to give me hope. But we have failed in the most critical moments so much that one time isn't going to be the albeit.
mhm,
You see, do you notice that every year we have a moment that says we have proven it, and then we get slapped in the face? So at what point do we say we have proven it, but do this and do that, and then I can actually, at some point, so the goalposts, I think the important thing, a lot of people keep saying the goalpost keeps getting moved, but a lot of people also need to realize that the goalpost has always been, at a minimum, win a playoff game. But we have been so far from that that we've talked about other goals that are lesser. So when
Right.
we talk about those lesser goals and it finally gets accomplished and we say, now win a playoff game, you're moving the goalposts.
That makes
It
sense, yeah.
was it was never really moved. It was always, and remember, we got to not make it just about Tua. It's
Mhm.
the
It's
team
a team.
overall.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's
I
the
agree.
team
And I
overall.
think they look more like a team this year than they did last year,
I
as
agree.
hard as like, because coming out of last year, it's like, "Man, I was really gonna miss that squad." But then you look at them and especially their play now and how they've come out of this hole and how they're digging
Mhm.
themselves up and the way that they're coming together, it seems more like a cohesive unit. I mean, players are taking different roles. I mean, look at Tyreek. What do you have, like, 2 yards last game or something like that? He had, like, something stupid. Um and it's cool to see everybody getting fed
Mhm.
on offense, everybody getting fed on defense, and I just feel like it feels more like a team
It
this
does.
year, I guess now, because ask me against the when Skylar Thompson was playing, and I would have said throw it all away, but, you know.
Yeah.
They seem more like a team now, but honestly, they were more successful last year
But
when they
were
were
I
they?
winning. When they were
well,
winning. When they were
But yeah,
winning.
but look at they were winning at the beginning of last year, and then they went
Guess what, Mary? There's still 6 weeks. So that's
right,
right, but
right.
that's what we're
this
hoping it
is
doesn't
when
happen.
This is when
last
we
year
start
was
getting
when we
depressed.
started going down, and it's reversed this year, and I'm all for it. Like, those
Mm.
I'm gonna
first
keep referring to this. Javon Holland, and I don't know where I saw this clip. He was sitting on a podcast and somebody said, "Do you have the script for this season?"
it was with Cam Wolf.
Mm.
Was it with Cam Wolf?
I
It
believe
was
it
before the
was.
season started. And
Okay.
he said, "I think we're gonna start off rocky. I think it's gonna be one of those where we're whatever, and then we're gonna start making our climb November, December." And I was not happy listening to that. And now it's like, "Oh, what does he know?" But, it's just like,
Yeah,
if we finish the way we wanna finish, I'm alright with it, but the thing that stinks is having to rely now on other teams to
other teams
lose,
that
and
yeah,
that's
we need
where it's
help.
like,
If we win every game, we'll be fine.
And
We'll be
The
fine.
Broncos have a pretty tough schedule coming up.
Exactly.
So
Everybody does. Everybody does except us, with the exception of Green Bay. And you don't. Well, you know what? I think I actually think our schedule is a lot tougher than it seems on the back end than the
we still
analysts are
yeah.
saying.
We still
And
have
let
the
me,
Browns up there. Like, that's gonna be
Jameis.
you know who everyone's sleeping on, and we don't even mention, and it'll be so Miami Dolphin, which I'm knock on wood. I just hope doesn't happen. And we still got to play them twice.
the
The
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah. Like we could sit here and be like, oh, it's the Jet. I mean, it's one of the most
It would be
loaded
the
teams
most
in the NFL that just aren't putting it together.
And it would be the most Jets thing to do to beat us when they don't really want to, when they're trying to tank or what
Yeah.
they're
Knock on your
trying to
wood.
do
Knock
And,
on
whatever.
like,
your wood,
they're
Mary.
not
Knock
even
on the wood.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes, please.
It reminds me of when we beat the Patriots and knocked them out of the number 1 seed. We had no business winning that game. We were
Yeah.
tanking for Tua, but
Brady hated it.
we beat them just because.
just to
Yep.
sprinkle it.
Yeah.
And that's the concern. So that's why you look at people that are just like they're not gonna go all gung ho about what's happening right now, because we might be at our all-time high if we beat Green Bay Thursday night and then turn around 10 days later and the Jets at home. Oh my
And
gosh.
their
Like,
crappy turf.
yeah, we got too many games for us to just automatically just bleed into the faithful. I that's just how I feel. I've been
Yeah.
burnt so many times, and that's another thing about me a lot of people don't know. No matter what my narrative or talking points are, every Sunday when we line it up, I go into that game clear slate for every player, the entire team. Let's go win this game. It's Tua time. Let's go Ramsey. Everybody, let's go get it. That's every week I am going to start that game. Now, what they do during that game can change how I feel, but everybody gets a fresh slate every single week to change how I feel about them and everything. Um, and that's how I approach it. I'm gonna tell how I feel. It don't make me right, but that's how I approach it every single time.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to hear. I think that people on Twitter, a lot of people just see your tweets and they don't see your show. Um, and so they just see you being a certain way on Twitter, and,
Terrible.
when you talked about after the Patriots game, and you list those 3 teams that we've beaten and,
Mhm.
they are what they are. However, Rams, we literally kept Cooper Kupp, Puka, Kyron Williams, and Stafford out of the end zone. Like,
Mhm.
that was very, very impressive.
Very.
Um, so I don't care what their record is right now. Those are great players that we kept out of the end zone. Um, but
And
it's
by
the
the way,
oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mm,
It's like the lack of, "Oh, I want this, I want this, I want this," but also, "Congratulations on this because this was dope. This was good. This was impressive." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess the reason why I get straight to the point is because once again, if you watch my show, I love trying to predict things and seeing if I'm wrong or right, and I tell the audience. And 4 weeks ago, I said, okay, we're gonna beat this team. We're gonna beat the Rams. We're going to beat the Raiders, and we're going to demolish the Patriots. And then in that Green Bay game, that's what's going to determine for me who this team really is. So when I'm making that prediction and it's coming true, I don't think about really, what we did in those 3 games. I already knew. I automatically assume I know which games, I know the matchups, I know who we're playing, I know exactly who's going to pose a problem and who's not. So when I go through it, I dive straight in. It was this team, this team, and this team. Y'all calling me a hater because I say wait to Green Bay. That's really what the tweet was. It wasn't that I'm taking away. I just tell everybody, even after the game, we need to celebrate this. But at the end of the day, if you watch this channel, we knew this would happen. Now, this is the test. Now, here's the thing, Brittany and Mary. 5 years in a row, I've told everybody, here's the test game. Here, I'm 4-0. I'm 4-0 on the test game, and it sucks. I've been right. Here's the test game. This is the one right here. I am 4-0. But year 1, Buffalo. Winning you're in. Year 2, Tennessee. The way they play defense, how they match up, this is the one that can get us in. Year 3, wait till we get to that stretch of Chargers, San Francisco.
Oh, that
You
was
know,
brutal. That
you
was
know what
brutal.
happened. Last year, who was the team? I was actually wrong last year about Dallas. I thought that the way they match up, but I mean, I was still on with how it would play out because we kicked 6 field goals or
Yeah,
whatever.
Jason
I
Sanders
said
really
we're
came
not.
through for
It's
us.
going to be hard to get in that end zone in this game versus them. So I was wrong about that, but I was right about all the games after that. These are the ones that's going to be the issue. Now here we are. 4 weeks ago, I said we're going to win this, win this, and win this. And every time I do this, I say, this is the moment where I can get behind Tua, the team, everything. This is the moment because I know the matchup. And if we can rise above the matchup, I can feel confident that we're a new and improved team. So here we are for the 5th season in a row. This is the matchup that I like to see Miami be tested a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
Mhm.
So that's why I believe what I believe.
I'm
I
just
mean, I'm
happy that it'll be well after I eat my Thanksgiving meal. It can't ruin it. I'll be full, and if I don't like what I see, I just go to bed. Go to
Well,
bed.
I do believe we're
I
gonna get it this time, though. I do believe
I
that
do
we're
too.
Yeah,
going to
me too.
for the first time out of those 4
It
previous, I
feels different.
believe that this is the one
It
that
does
we're
feel
gonna get.
different.
I'm
I
just
think
worried about the teams we should win after that.
yeah.
So,
But their scheme is so different. I just feel like it's so hard to lock them down because he's really truly spreading the ball out so well that
Mhm.
last year it was like it was the Jalen and now we have I mean, look at Jonnu Smith. I mean,
Yeah. And
wow.
he said in his presser that that was his 4th read,
mhm.
and everyone wants to say he's only a 1 read quarterback, and I think he just shut everyone up.
And him getting out of the pocket, him moving, light to like slim to a running a little bit, but not making it scary yet. You
I
A
don't
know,
want
heavy
running at
emphasis on
all.
not making it
I feel
scary.
like last year's game plan was a lot. I mean, yes, with all the motion, it's confusing, but all the pre-snap penalties come with that, and they still have that motion. But we were going to Tyreek,
Yeah.
we were going to
Mhm,
Tyreek, or we're going to Waddle, and I just feel like now it's a lot harder of an offense to stop because you don't. There's so many guys out there. Even OBJ,
Mhm.
although he's not catching a lot of them, he's still a weapon that's on the field. That it's an option,
Right.
and I think it's a lot harder for these defenses. That's why I feel a little more
And
confident
HA
going into
we
yeah.
yeah, we've got
List them, list them.
yeah.
And
Well, we're
last
about
year
to
we couldn't
find out
really.
Thursday if all of that still stands true.
We just
Um
we need to be a very disciplined team. on
That's what a
Thursday.
lot of it comes down to, the lack of penalties. Because when you
Mhm.
really look at the losses we have, you also put the offense in a bad position when you're having a lot of 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20s, false
Yeah,
starts,
3rd and
illegal
3rd and
formation.
20, and yep.
Yeah, that's unfair for any quarterback in their offense, and that's what we were doing earlier in the season. But like I said, Mike McDaniel having a lot more discipline on his roster in the last several weeks, so that gives me encouraging promise. And we're gonna need OBJ and Janu to show up in the big games.
Yeah. I have faith in Jonnu. OBJ is a little different.
OBJ just needs. Yeah, I think
And to
he's
be
fine.
honest, also, I don't know how I feel about saying this, but Tyreek needs to show up in the big games too.
Mm, I'm a little conflicted
His
on that
role has
right
changed a
now.
little bit.
Look at last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I said this. I was one of the people who were saying the last 2 years, Tyreek killing this offense. It gives you more production, but it doesn't give you more success. Because when you're making him the first guy you look at every time, and
Right.
they've already game planned, it makes it tough.
And I think that it helps now that we are spreading the ball out.
Mhm.
Um, but I think just his presence on the field is always going to help
Yeah,
our
and
offense
he's
because you can't
sacrificing
you
right now
have
for the
to
greater
defend
good.
him.
Yeah, no question.
Mhm.
He's
and with
sacrificing for the greater good right now.
Waddle's
Yes.
big game
He
last year
he yes.
on Sunday was huge because he wasn't
Mhm.
being utilized much, and now it reminds people the second half of the season, "Hey, look who we still have."
Yeah,
FYI.
and Tyreek hasn't really been Tyreek this season, for obvious reasons. I mean,
Maybe
this
it's like
offense
the
just
Andy Reid game plan because apparently Andy Reid is always like he never shows everything that he's got. He always has,
correct,
and then it's once we get to that
correct.
playoff push is when he starts really showing his cards. Maybe that Mike McDaniel's taking a little snippet
Love
by
it.
not utilizing him as much as he can and just
Yeah.
kind of seeing what we can do with what we have. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's
He,
a part of the game plan.
Andy Reid ran 13 personnel like 7% of the time.
Mhm.
During the regular season. He ran it over 30% in the postseason. Pacheco's stats in the postseason alone were almost double his stats in the regular season.
Mm.
So they just blindsided everyone. Nobody was prepared to
Oh.
defend that. It was crazy. Love it. And I hope I would love it if that's what we're doing. So
McDaniel, he
I
was
like
on a
him.
chopping block 5 weeks ago to everybody. Now we all love him. So I
I
like McDaniel.
he was never on my chopping block. I
Me
just wanted him
neither.
to have a play calling buddy to say, "This
Mm.
isn't working. Let's try something else."
Yeah, he has his flaws in that sense. When a team has got your number, can you change it up to say, "Hey, here's a new number"? So that's where he can improve. But we also got to be respectful there too. New coach, he's young still
Right.
in this coaching game,
And
So
this
He's
is
gonna
his
be
3rd
around for a
year.
while.
Both
yeah.
seasons he's had winning seasons and gone to the playoffs. That's huge
Hmm.
for a new coach. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. We
Look
need
at
to have
Dan Campbell and the
patience.
Lions. When Dan Campbell first started in 2021, they were like 2-5, and they hadn't
Mhm.
won a
Yeah.
road game in like and, look at them now, 3 or
They're
whatever years later.
probably
It's like,
I will bet money that they're gonna be in the Super Bowl.
"Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, let's do mean
We'll
tweets.
see. Mean tweets.
All right, TD. So after our win, I posted a little tweet saying, "Has anyone checked on TD Phins Talk?" And there were some comments. So let's go over them.
Well, yes, I am her. I guess that's my pronoun for today. That would be a good, because I'm a clown on Twitter, so it's all good. Uh, nope, blocked long ago. A lot of people say, no, I blocked him long ago, but I see them saying that. So I'm not blocked. Some of y'all need to go to my profile and actually block me. He gets his Daniel Jones parade to assemble. I don't know what that means. He's still a thing. I guess so. I guess so. I love the ones where people say no one cares, and then there's 400 comments on the post. I don't think anyone would want it. Not gonna lie. Wow, he's okay. He thanks you for asking. Shout out to Rhino Seath. You're blocked. Yeah, tell him he's a cat for me or something like that. Hey, Tell him I say hi. I don't know what to say back to that, but hey, man, TD Phins is punching air right now. Oh my gosh, Tua beat the Patriots and he's destroying my narratives. Oh no. Still in his mom's basement, I would assume. My mom lives in South Florida. There are no basements, just FYI.
That's
Also,
correct.
I wish I was in her basement. Do you know the call? You know, like what a mortgage is, you know? Like, man, if I can move me, my wife, and my 6 children in her basement and be comfortable, I'd be saving a lot of money.
Pause.
6
Circle
children?
back.
Pause, time out.
Yes.
6 children?
What kind
6
of factory you got
amazing,
over
beautiful
there?
children. It's well, the factory shut down now, so we're good at 6. Unless
You had a
You
starting
you
lineup
have
for the
yeah, you have
NBA.
yeah.
what happened?
You have, like, half of a football team, like, starting
Oh
I know
yeah,
lineup.
some of them
he's
are
got
going.
an
Some
NBA starting lineup plus the
There you
I
sixth
go.
got
man.
I got 1 or 2 playing for the Dolphins in the future. I
There you
got 1
go.
or 2.
Are they
And,
are,
and,
are
and,
they all
and-
boys?
yeah, well, 4 boys and 2 girls.
4 boys, 2 girls.
Mm.
Yeah, oldest is a girl and the youngest is a girl.
Can you
So
get them
Sandwich 'em in
into,
there.
like, doing, O-line? Because there's a big shortage of that.
no, we gonna have one of the best pass rushers of all time on the
There we
edge,
go.
right there with Jason Taylor.
Love it.
And we're gonna have a quarterback, probably replacing Tua in about 13 years when he's ready to retire from being the GOAT of all time. So
Mm. Oh,
yeah, we're gonna have a quarter.
I
And guess
love
what?
it.
When my son comes to be the quarterback, he gonna sit behind Tua for a year or two and develop while Tua goes off into the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna be even worse.
Look at that.
I'm gonna be even worse. Like my own son was a Miami Dolphin quarterback. I'm gonna be even worse. I would be 10 times worse. He got to live up to the expectation. That's how I look at it. Ooh, why do people care about this clown? He just does it for interactions to pay his internet bill. He's a fraud behind sloppy dude. Man, oh man. Pay my internet bill. Well,
Is that real?
I act-
You got that many channels?
Let's talk about this, TD.
I think they're still up. Yeah, I think I don't know the passwords to them, but I think they're still up. Yeah, this was about a year and a half after I started TD Phins Talk.
Hmm.
I'm the type of person that always thinks bigger and better. I'm not just gonna stay stagnant in what I do.
I like
I've
that.
always wanted to be a sports commentator, somebody who ruffles feathers and gets in and give their sports opinion.
Like Omar.
So yes, yeah, well, yeah, I guess. And I'm ESPN isn't calling me. It's not likely for them to call me. I haven't been in journalism. I haven't done, that field, follow that track. And I haven't been, a NFL, NBA all-star to get that phone call to live out what I want to live out, my dreams, right? So when you don't get that call and the situation isn't what you want it to be, you create it for yourself. At least that's what go-getters and people who are, have aspirations do. So what I decided is, TD Phins Talk is going so well, but I go live on all primetime games. I cover every primetime game on TD Phins Talk, and people are loving it. Man, I want to start a TD Talks network. So what I did here is I did some legwork. I did some research, in other
It's a
words.
lot of work.
It is. How much money will I need? What will it take for me to run a network of TD Bengals Talk? TD. So what I did is I strategically said, where are the young quarterbacks and the best teams in the league? I'm going to start with those 10. So this was early on when 2 of them came in. Oh, Herbert's new. I'm getting all of those teams. So I create a channel for everyone. And I sit there and I say, okay, I'm going to do one breaking news segment on all of them every day. So I can figure out how tedious, how much work it takes, and what kind of work it is. It was exhausting trying.
Yeah. So much
But
work.
in that 1 week, I found out how hard it was and the labor. Because these channels weren't built for me to run them. It was built for me to hire creators for each of them. But I got to go do the legwork. I have to find out.
And
So,
first
and
you
I
gotta up
actually,
yourself to in order to
exactly.
get the people that wanna be in and wanna hop on
Thank
board,
you.
and and feel that you're legitimate, so you gotta first do the work for you until you can spread your little wings, you know? It's a lot.
Exactly. And I actually found creators that I had doing work on some of these channels for their team. But, I didn't think that people would look at it as oh, you're a fraud. I thought they would see the potential entrepreneurship in it. And then, civil war started in the Dolphins community, and this was their number one
It's
weapon
always a civil war.
that
Do
I'm not
you
a real Dolphins fan. But do
do
you
you
see this
think that
logo?
what is it? An R?
Roundtable Sports. So
Oh,
this
yep.
is the company that I'm a co-founder of.
You've
We
got
have
a
You're
you
the A you're part of the AFC East roundtable?
yeah, so
yeah,
you
well,
represent the Dolphins, right?
well, yeah, and eventually I won't. Eventually I'll be picking someone too because I'm a co-founder. This is a company that we started. So what I did is I got with two other creators that were ambitious as I am because this is too much work for me myself. We all went into partnership. We took the money we were making on these channels and we created Roundtable Sports. Right now we have 32 creators, well, actually 46 people in total who work with us. From editing, from social media managers, we hire people. We have people that we pay every single month to get their job done. And we have 8 roundtables, including the main channel of Roundtable Sports, and all of them are doing phenomenal. I mean, they're growing fast. The fan bases are coming into each division. It is in, if you wanted to pull that up, it's Roundtable Sports. You'll see all the different roundtables: AFC East, NFC East, AFC South, NFC South. We have 32 creators and alternates behind them if they can't make it. And we built something special. We have partnerships with brand deals that's, helping us manage the company. It continues to grow. And we see what Barstool Sports is doing. We see what Chat Sports is doing, and we also see that these companies are being sold for 2, 3, 4, 5, $600 million, and we're well on our way of building something special. We have writers now. Our website just came up, and the next phase is an app and venturing into NBA roundtable sports.
Ooh.
So this was the vision all along. And as a collateral, I can deal with people saying you're not a real Dolphins fan because I had a bigger vision. It's
I
just
get
because
that
they never.
too, though. I get
What's
the
that?
same I get the same heat as you now, though, now that I branched off into the NFL. I mean,
Getting stuff from all the teams. Yeah, you're
yeah,
not.
even if
Yeah.
I God forbid, I say something nice about Bills Mafia, not a real Dolphins fan. It's like, "Huh?" So it's
Yeah,
just people
I
nitpick.
saw I saw that on Mary's TikTok. She was wearing a Lions sweater, and somebody said, "Why are you wearing a Lions sweater? Aren't you a Dolphins person?" I'm like, "Get a grip. Get
Well,
a grip."
even when I'm opening boxes from other teams and because I wear like, this hoodie, like, travels with me
Yeah.
everywhere, so I'll throw it on, and people will be like, it was the Chiefs one because that one got a lot of traction just because it's the Chiefs.
Mhm.
Everyone comments, "But she's in a Dolphins hoodie, she's in a Dolphins hoodie," or it's just like some comment, it's like, but and this is where it starts, where it's like, why can't we all understand that we're all here for the same reason because we love
We
this
love the
game,
sport.
right? We love
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
sport, we love the
And we
community that it
still love
brings.
our team. We
Of
still love our
course.
team.
Now, am I gonna go out there parading in Bills Mafia gear? Absolutely not. But if they go to the Super Bowl, do I have to because I promised my student I would? Yes.
What
Absolutely.
Mary, what happens if it's Lions? I'm not saying that nobody come at
If
me.
it's
I'm
I
not
told my
saying it
students
is. What
if
happens if it's
two of their
Lions and Bills? Don't believe
if
it
it
is, but what if?
oh, I'm going Lions all the way. Are you kidding me? I'm not ready for the Bills. But I will like I told all my kids that if their teams make it to the Super Bowl, I will rep their team. And they're like, "What if it's both?" And I'm like, "I'll do like a pants top situation."
Like a Mama
Wow.
Kelsey
No,
situation,
Mary, you're not a real Dolphins fan.
Right?
You're the
No, I'm
biggest
not.
mm,
fraud.
Couldn't be.
I
I'm a
can't
fraud.
believe you. Yeah, this is proof. I can't even believe
How
people
dare
still
I?
listen to this clown. That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But listen, you branching out, doing more is always a great thing. And eventually, you keep your foot to the ground and keep on moving forward. People will recognize on the back end, and it all comes full circle at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Is Stephen A.
yeah,
Smith? Does he have a favorite team? You see, like everybody on TV, they have a favorite team. Are they not allowed to talk about other
right.
people and say good things? It's
Mhm.
crazy. It's just the
Yeah, it really is.
inner wars.
And we were supposed the season was a mess, but we were originally intending to have somebody from every fan base every week of who were getting ready to play. And we did it with Hans from Bill's Mafia. That was so much fun. And the season kind of there's a lot of issues. I'll be cutting all this out, but there was issues, and so we couldn't really do that. But next season, I'm hoping to do that just because it's so nice
Nice.
to
Yeah.
like talk to other fan bases, you
And
know?
you get an appreciation because a lot of the things that I'm learning is like I used to hate I've never been a hater outwardly in my mind, yes, but I've always been like, I'm not gonna put this stuff out there on Twitter because you can't take that crap back once you say it. Can't take
Mhm.
it back. But I actually, since doing what I do with the NFL, I've gained such an appreciation for so many different organizations where it's like, wow, all the things that the Bills do, wow, all the things that the Lions do for the
Yeah.
community, or different players or different moments. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a hater towards them. I mean, when we're playing on at
Yeah.
8 PM, am I
Right.
a hater? Yes.
Yes.
Of
After the
course, they're the
game,
worst enemy.
for a little bit,
Right.
yes, in my head, but, like, I'm not gonna be out there like, "F the whatever," so,
Right. Yeah.
It comes with the territory. Y'all
yeah,
just keep winning. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tua being a one read quarterback. I have believed that Tua has been a one read quarterback for about 4 years now. When I went to training camp this year, I reported on my channel that I'm seeing something that's totally different that I hadn't really seen. Now, we know Tua can come off of a first read and go to a second on occasions. But when you hit your first read 80% of the time, you have a smaller sample size of when you don't. And when you don't, usually the numbers haven't been as good. But this summer, I saw Tua at camp going through progressions. I saw Tua going through reads, and I said it didn't look the best, but just the effort of making sure that the defense and Weaver is putting him in positions to have to gives me a lot more faith. Now, what I've seen this year has him being comfortable behind what we all perceive to be a bad O line, which we really need to have a conversation about one day. Is it really now? But he's getting a lot more comfortable. I see him coming off of the first read, making a lot more plays. And the more he does it, the more I can believe that he's not a one read guy. No quarterback in the league is a one read guy in essence, in his general form. But if you do it 80% of the time, that's who you are. But now I'm seeing when it matters most, him performing at a high level when he comes off of it. If he can maintain that narrative is a lot believe it's already killed. But again, I always look at those big games. How does it look off of that first read?
Okay, so here's my question to you. How do you
Mm-hmm.
know it's the first read? Because I don't think anyone, and I will die
Mm-hmm.
on this hill, absolutely nobody. You can watch the film, you can
Richard
see
Tua
the
Yeah.
routes
or
run.
McDaniel.
Nobody's going to know what that first read was unless you are in that huddle.
But Tua makes it easy for you to determine that. When he hikes the ball and he looks to the right at
Maybe he's
Jonnu in the
getting
flat.
better with it.
But that's what Tua does though. He does so much manipulation with his eyes.
No. I understand those moments. That's where my spot throwing narrative comes from, and we can get into that in a moment. But when he hikes the ball and he looks to the right at Tyreek Hill, and he's like, okay, clear, and goes. That's one read. That's what. Now I know what you're talking
You,
about when he looks to the right and then he
but
comes
you
back
don't
left.
know that.
But
Literally nobody knows
here,
that.
listen. On the film, it tells me because most of the time when he comes back right, he's not even processing. He just letting it fly because he knows where the ball is supposed to be, and it works more than it doesn't.
So when
And even Kurt Warner said, it can get you in trouble, but it works for Tua at a very high level. And the amount of times it gets him in trouble, it's not worth stopping it. Like there are times Tua will not look to the left at all. He'll look right and come back left. Before he even sets his eyes left, the ball is already on the way because he already knows where he wants to go with the football. See, we'll look at that as a progression. If I already know I'm going to take this go route with Tyreek on the left side and I'm going to manipulate the safety to the right, regardless if Tyreek is open or not, he comes back and flings the ball. And 9 times out of 10, it's Tyreek Hill. He's open. So that's what I mean whenever I say the first read. We see that as, look, he looked over to the right. Then he came back left, 2 progressions or maybe even 3. Tua is a master manipulator with his eyes. He has the best mechanics in this game, if you ask me. But we also need to recognize what that is. And another thing, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a benefit for him. It's just people take it as the most negative thing. I just don't like it because it gets him in trouble every time we play a great secondary. You don't look at every interception Tua throws, which are rare, right? every one of them's like, why did he even throw it? Every one of them. It's a small sample size, but it's like, why did he even throw it? That was never open.
Well, some of the interceptions too, like, okay, for instance, the Bills game, that's the first one that comes to my head. The first interception, he threw it to DeBose. DeBose it bounced off of his chest and it was intercepted. That's not Tua's fault.
Yeah, that's the one off. If you go look at a reel of his interceptions, you would really go back to the Green Bay game with the 3 picks.
Oh,
Whenever they say he was concussed,
that ruined my
tell me,
Christmas.
tell me why he threw any of those. If we were processing the field and actually reading the defense, go look at all the dropped interceptions, the turnover worthy plays.
He also had a
Tell me.
concussion.
Yeah,
Well,
he was
okay.
concussed.
It's just hard for me to say the concussion when he throws a pick, goes out there and light him up a little bit, throws a pick, goes out there and light him up a little bit, throws a pick, and then finishes the game and say, he's in protocol. I believe he did have one, but at the same token, he showed great plays in that game as well. But that's all. And again, my belief on the first read theory, I could be totally wrong. But what I look for is in the big games when those secondaries close in on those windows, to stop making those mistakes.
Right.
Stop. So that will tell me he's actually processing.
Correct. And also DBs are, some of them are just incredible and
better.
Yeah. I want you to go back and look at that play that he said in his presser was his fourth read to Jonnu where he scored the touchdown. And I want you to see if you can find the 3 prior reads.
You want me to do it right now?
No, you don't. Do it.
I will. No, I've already seen the play. I've seen them. Okay. I've seen them. And one of them on the third is almost like he can see 2 at once. Like you can tell him going
peripherals.
Through. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing you got to consider as well with the reads. Is he using his peripheral? I've come to learn that Tua does use his peripheral a lot more than I thought he did, which gives me, a little bit more of a positive outlook on that part of the game. But again, it's still those moments where I'm like, why did he even throw it? In those moments, it's always when he's trying to manipulate and coming back the other way.
How well Tua is playing right now.
Tua is playing phenomenal. Listen, I beg Tua to play phenomenal forever and be the greatest of all time. I've always opened up that possibility. And I want him to continue to play like this. I want him to light the Green Bay Packers up. I mean, you may have not have seen my reaction in that Baltimore game. You may have not have seen. I was around here going crazy, saying he's the GOAT and going just absolutely insane. They say, TD isn't welcome on the train. I start sending gifts of me sitting on the wheels of the train, on the outside. Hey, it is what it is. I've always said, if he does his thing, I'm always going to be about that. When he goes out there and doesn't play well, I got to keep it, even keel.
But that's also being a fan is still supporting.
Yeah, I support, but I'm glad you brought that up. I'm a fan of the Miami Dolphins, right? A diehard fan. When Tannehill left, which I thought was the right thing to do for both parties, I said, yeah, the time has come to an end. There wasn't a bigger Tannehill fan than me, just so you know. I was fooled.
I was not a big Tannehill fan.
I was, because I wanted to believe and be delusional no matter what, because I love this team so much. We could do no wrong. That's the state I was in. I said to myself when Tannehill was gone, it'll never happen to me again. Every quarterback that comes in from this point on, I am going to evaluate them. I'm not going to overpraise, underpraise. I am going to just call it how it is. And until they win a playoff game and show us big clutch play in the big moments, I am not going to be sold all on board. And then I lied. We went and traded for Josh Rosen. Oh, we got our future. Oh, we got the best. I was right back into delusion. Because I just love this thing. I was right back. And we know what happened with Rosen. And that was the straw. I said, okay, I got to stick to my guns. I got to stop this delusional stuff. So Tua's entire career, up, not good, up, not good. Oh, man, now that's what I'm talking about. Did y'all just see? I mean, it's not my narrative. I'm only going with what he does. Now I have my personal beliefs, but I'm willing to be wrong about them. But it takes games like Thursday night. And if we lose, what do you want me to do with that?
Okay, so TD, you
Mhm.
said that you just want him because of prior quarterbacks. You have your reservations about Tua. You just want him to go out and win a playoff game. That's what you said, I believe. Tua's only played one playoff game. It was in -4 degrees, not normal, not typical. We had Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert walking off that plane in walking boots. Half of
Mhm.
our defense was on IR. We had 12 players, 12 starters on IR.
Shambles.
Mhm.
We had defensive players who were literally on the couch 5 days prior, and we were going to Kansas City and playing the Chiefs, who no team has
Mhm.
beaten in the postseason for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's not on Tua. Like,
Brittany,
that's not.
it is though. And here's at least my opinion. Here's why. Tua, the first thing you said was TD. Tua's only played one playoff game. To
I
that's a
hear you.
Tua problem. Beat Buffalo and you're in rookie year, demolished. Beat Tennessee your second year and we're in, demolished. Here we go,
How
Green Bay and 49ers and Chargers demolished. Like that's still on him too. And your injuries, reliability. I mean, we always talk about if he would have played, but we don't think about the fact of that's a problem he didn't.
I
Yeah.
really think
Reliability.
I really think the 4 weeks where I'm gonna say my opinion, I think he was forced by higher ups to sit. I really think that that changed him mentally. I
You mean
think
on the
it
Yes.
back end of the Green Bay game?
No,
No, I'm
no,
talking
this
about this
season.
year.
This
This
season,
season
the
when
4
he
weeks
went
that he
out
was
and
on
then
IR.
after the Bills
Yes,
game.
no question. Tua, in my opinion, was ready to play the very next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
But look at what you've put us in the position to have to do.
He
But
didn't
I
Because
do
don't
that.
think
He didn't do that. He
I
could
don't
no,
think it was him.
he
here's
medically
why.
cleared the next day.
No, here's why he did. This is what you got to understand. Look at the year prior. They said Tua got concussed that previous week. How dare the Miami Dolphins march him out there the very next week? And this happens. From that point on, it was like if he gets concussed, 4 weeks
Maybe there's
minimum.
something in his contract that states if you have these types of symptoms, you're out for this long or whatever. I don't know,
He was
but I don't know if
symptom
someone who's
free. He was
right.
symptom
Yeah,
free.
he
I
didn't
think
have
it
any
was I
symptoms.
think it was like higher ups, meaning like NFL, that was like, "We can't do
I'm
this
literally
again."
Exactly. And this
I'm
is
going to
why.
I'm pausing this.
But here's the problem. We have a quarterback that if he gets in a protocol, you might as well book 4 weeks off going forward. That's who we have at the quarterback
But it
position.
wasn't it was the fact that it was a primetime game. It was this,
Uh-huh.
it was all of that. It was all optics. And
And it's going to be optics moving forward as well because
he's
of the
pissed.
history.
It
But
shouldn't be that way. Look at all the other players who have had
it's
our own player, Kendall Fuller, he's on his second
Twice in one
concussion
season.
in one season.
Brittany, this is the quarterback in the National Football League, the face of the brand. We have a quarterback moving forward. If he is in the protocol, you might as well X off 4 weeks moving forward. I don't like it either. He was ready to play the very next week, but that is going to be our reality moving forward. And we don't have to accept that. But if you put the logic
Then what's the
behind it,
solution?
we keep saying we need a better backup. Well,
That's
I'm
not a
going to be
solution to Tua.
exactly, but guess what? This is what we're gonna have to live with. We all should hate this, and I
And
see
I
that
think
y'all hate
I
it.
my point was I think he realized that and didn't
Mhm.
understand that, and I think because of the way it happened, and him having to sit, I think it was a big wake-up
Wake up
call
call.
for him, and I think he grew up a little bit in those 4 weeks. I mean, I really it seems just his level of type of play that he's playing, his mindset, and I know I see a lot of the Buffalo Bills tweets, they're like, I don't like this Tua. He's arrogant. And it's like this has been him all
Well, I
along. It's
prefer
just
that Tua.
I
so
prefer
do
it
I.
too. Yeah.
I
I
prefer
prefer
it
the Tua
too.
that's talking directly to me.
Yep.
I prefer that when he said, good, we get to kill the narrative. I love
Right.
it. That's what I want from my quarterback. But
I think those 4 weeks off really did a number on him mentally, and I think he really had to do a
Yeah.
lot of work on himself and
And the fact that, like, he was healthy, he could have played,
Mhm.
he
Yeah,
wasn't
he
being allowed to
traveled to
play,
Seattle. It's
and
like the longest
yeah,
domestic
he
flight.
had to stand there on the sidelines just
Pissed.
But I called it. I said, ladies and gentlemen, Tua's gonna be just fine tomorrow. This was right after the game. I say he's gonna be just fine. Because I'm looking at how it happened. He's gonna be fine. I promise you, he's gonna be fine tomorrow. He's gonna clear protocol, but you're not gonna see him for a little. It's just a matter of if they put him on IR or not. No, bro, if he can play, he can. I say you don't understand. The NFL and the Miami Dolphins, they have insurance on his contract. It's built in. So you have to not show negligence. Brittany, you know this. You have to do everything in your power to not show that you're trying or putting yourself at risk of filing a claim, you know? So they're going to take every precaution just in case, just for that insurance policy alone. And that's what we have as a quarterback moving forward. And I don't like it. But here's what scares me about it. This is where I do realize Tua's tough as nails. But it scares me. Now I feel like if he does feel a little shaken or, anything a little woozy, he may not report it.
But he didn't last year anyways. There was times when he was like, wasn't that the whole thing last year? Like the Buffalo game, like, or whatever it was, that
yeah,
he didn't report it,
and he
and
didn't
that's why
report
it
it.
got as
Mm.
bad as it did
Yeah.
because
But
I
now,
think that there are situations now, maybe behind closed doors, that, if he gets a hit that is questionable, they may be doing their own thing.
yeah, because if he gets
I
if
honestly
something
think
happens again, that's it for Tua, in my
the
opinion.
only bad one was the one where he had to get carted off. That's it.
Agree.
Everything else
Agree.
everything
Well,
else
Eh,
was what happens when you play football.
a
well, the
physical
problem is
contact sport.
but the problem is in the DeMar
And
Hamlin
everybody
one.
wants to talk about the little signs and
I
whatnot,
know,
but
but
that's just his body's reaction. Just like how
Yes.
when I take a
Mhm.
shot of
But
lemons,
I
yeah,
and and
like
some people
woozy,
don't,
and
yeah,
most people fence in,
my
like, their
reaction.
calves and their toes. Tua has
yeah.
it in his hands. We
But
don't see
Brittany,
a lot of that.
you made the point though. If you fence on national television, knowing what they saw previously, like when it first happened, the bad one, right? When you do it on national television, you can't tell your fan base that you don't care. Like, even if he's fine, like, I mean, we're talking about reality here. We know he's fine. We know, but this is a business. And the louder those calls come of, man, I get nervous watching Tua. They're going to always treat him like this moving forward, y'all. They're going to. And I'm telling you now, if
And
So
that's
something
just
like,
something that
stupid.
he's gotta block out that noise because, and he's done a great job doing it,
It's
because it's
it's
just like Dolphins
ridiculous.
Twitter. It's
So,
but if
there's
it happens
concussions
again,
every single weekend.
I agree.
every
Nobody talks
game.
about it unless it's Tua. And it's
I agree.
absolutely insanity. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. Leave Tua's health alone. Worry
I
about your own health.
I
Like,
get it,
and
but the
I'm not
league,
telling you, I'm telling the general public.
yeah.
Start worrying about your own health.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, he has to make his own decisions about what he wants to put at risk, and nobody should have anything to say about that. But what I will tell you is at the end of the day, the brand of the NFL, they won't allow, I can't say they can't allow, they will not allow a quarterback, the face of the franchise, to show that on the field without saying they did everything they could to make sure that he was okay. They're not. And this is what I don't like. This is where they call me a hater. I have a quarterback. Take the name Tua off of it. I have a quarterback that if something like that happens, it's 4 games, even if he's okay. I got to deal with that.
I don't
That
think
has to be
so.
built in. That's how I feel, because you saw what happened with the NFL on the last one. That was ridiculous. He could have played, but
Yeah.
they shut him down anyway. That's what we got to live with. So all those who say we would have won those games when he was out, you got to look at why he was out. And that's something we got to live with.
But honestly, we should have won at least 2 of those games.
Yeah,
And so
I agree.
shame on our organization for not addressing the backup quarterback situation properly. And also, this is where I got upset with McDaniel and I wanted somebody to step in. You don't call plays for your quarterback who's on the field as if they're Tua. They're not Tua. You should have been running the ball. Just run the ball. I didn't ever want to see a drop back. I didn't want to see the ball going forward. I run the ball
Yeah, that
because
was shame. That was a shame on Mike McDaniel because I think he could have called a better game for Skylar. We all know Skylar's better than Tua.
and
So
Tyler,
at
our
the end of the
views,
day,
like,
What?
she didn't hear it, Mary.
what'd you say? No. Say what'd you say? What did
Nothing,
you say?
nothing, nothing. Just a
Did you
fact.
just say Skylar's better than Tua?
It was a joke. It was
You're
my comment, my
trolling.
Twitter joke. It was my Twitter joke. I had
You're a
to throw
Twitter
it.
troll.
Mary caught
And
it.
I hear that it's like all the kids talking. I'm like, "What'd you say?"
Mary said,
But that
"Hold
it's
on,
kinda
what did he
like
just
how
say?"
when you tweet that, nobody sees the little giggle that you're doing in the background. They just see your tweet and
At
they
all.
take you
Listen,
for it,
well,
and this is
Mary,
half the problem.
Mary. Sometimes I'm live on my channel, and somebody will send a super chat saying Skylar's better than Tua, and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna put that on Twitter right now. And I just go do it.
And
And it's
people take
World War
that, and then
Three.
they
And
attack you,
they
whereas
They
they don't
literally
screenshot
realize
it.
that
can
that's what you're doing is you're just,
Mhm. I mean, I'm having fun, man. I got screenshotted all day on Sunday. My old tweet of Skylar better than Tua because Skylar came in and fumbled. It's in and people say I do it. People do say I do it for money, but I don't get paid on Twitter. I
can
don't.
and
can
I
you
kinda used to, but I don't know how that stuff works anymore. I haven't got anything in a
No.
while.
they pay me like $12. I'm literally just paying for
I'm
my
not
check.
even monetized on Twitter. I haven't even hit buttons to get monetized. I'm not. My Twitter isn't making me any money. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I get mad at people on Twitter creators because I'm like, y'all doing all this work and not monetizing it. Really, like you
Mhm.
go over to somewhere that's gonna appreciate your work. So,
Can you confirm right now
oh,
that Skylar Thompson is not
is
a better quarterback than Tua?
Skylar Thompson is a more talented quarterback than many quarterbacks that are backups.
In the little league.
Yeah.
Now, listen, here's the deal. Skylar
Kidding.
Thompson isn't even close to Tua Tagovailoa, okay? When Skylar first came in, of course, it was an easy joke to make to trigger people that, and remember, you saw those tweets, the ones who are disrespectful in their tweets.
Mhm.
That's really who those tweets are for. Um, it's just, hey, throw something out, they see it, I just can't stand this guy. Well, you need to grow up. So I'm trying to help people grow up, by the way, be able to deal with their emotions when something they don't like presents itself. But he's not even close to Tua. Tua is accurate. Tua is in the flow of this offense. Now, Skylar has some intangibles and things that I really feel like McDaniel should have had him looking better than he is right now. From just a raw standpoint, I think he has a solid arm. I think that you know he can like the Skylar I remember his rookie year was a lot more mobile too. And I just felt like he was a great project to develop into a second string quarterback. But he's consistently failed. At
Yeah.
this point, I'm over Skylar and the project of being a backup. Although he's better than Tua, it's also a coping mechanism for me. When we lose and Tua doesn't play well, I am upset. Like when we lose, and it's like, especially in the big game when it matters most, I'm kind of hurt because remember, I'm on the AFC's roundtable. I got to face all these Bills fans. I got to face all, I'm kind of hurt, honestly. So to make myself feel a little better, I'll throw something out like that. Sometimes it's a deflection and how I truly feel and the disappointment that I'm experiencing at that moment. So at the end of the day, I don't take Twitter that serious. I'm going to start taking Twitter a little more serious because I feel like I have weeded out a lot of the people who um can't respect other people's opinions.
Mhm.
Because the blocks are healthy for me. That means when I do get on Twitter and I behave, I can have healthy dialogue with people because it's people who have worked through my craziness. So
Mhm.
they're tough skinned in a lot of cases. And not to say those who don't aren't, but at the same token, what I found on Twitter, there's a lot of people without even seeing the craziness who have a bad opinion of me based off of what other people had to say. So moments like this, that's why I appreciate moments like this. There'll still be people that hate me, but some people get some clarity on how I really view certain things. And it may be received and it may not, but this is a huge opportunity for me on the show. So that's
Oh.
why I'm beyond grateful.
Listen, we will always have anybody come on whether they agree with us or not because I think that we could all be better at
Mhm.
having those
Being humans.
conversations and understanding each other's point of views and still saying, "I'm going to agree to disagree," you
Mhm.
know? I think the world needs more of
And I
that.
and I think a lot of thing gets lost behind the internet and behind a picture and behind your words because unfortunately half the things that these people say, they wouldn't say them to your
To your
face.
face.
And
Mhm.
I think that's the only issue I have with Twitter is just the and any social media aspect. It's like so many people are just it's so easy to spread hate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um because you can hide.
Yeah.
And that's become the norm is spreading that type of hate. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, it's rampant. I would just say that.
Mhm.
But it's okay. It's okay. Everybody has moments in their life where they grow up. Some
yeah.
people are how they are. And I promise you, anybody who dislikes me or hates me or doesn't rock with me, I love them. I promise you, I love them. Like on a personal note, face to face, I love everybody in the dolphin community. If you think everything I say is idiotic and you think I'm an idiot, I love you because you're a fellow human. You're a fellow dolphin fan above all, because that's what we're all arguing about.
Right?
And I love you all. It doesn't bother me. It's none of my business what other people think about me, by the way. That's
Mhm.
none of my business.
You're
So
never going to get nobody's ever like, you're never gonna get the love and support from everyone.
yeah, my wife
You're
doesn't
always gonna have
understand me.
people that hate you for no
Yeah.
reason at all just because it's just the way it is.
And I love them anyway. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I
And
love you.
guess what? That makes them real mad that you do.
Mhm.
It does, but I wish it didn't. I wish it would set an example. Well, it does.
Right.
I guess it does. I wish it would set
It
an
does set an
example that
example, but
it's
it's like
not that serious.
right.
Yeah.
It's not that like whatever I think about Tua Tagovailoa, this man is a great man. He's a great husband from what we see. He's a great father.
Fantastic person.
He look at the foundations. I saw, one of your posts of the his football field on the field with the turkey
Turkey bowl.
event. Yeah, turkey bowl. He does for the community. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He created generational wealth for his family. He's done so much. He's had so much success. I just ask people, stop crying for him. He's fine. He's doing just fine. He is a winner in life. Don't worry about little old TD having an opinion about his football skills. At the end of the day, he's on that field. He gets to be blessed to be out there to have one of those 32 jobs leading the way in charge of a team. That's
Mhm.
something he should be proud of. You should be proud of, but people's opinions are going to be their opinions.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, my favorite player on this team is Tua Tagovailoa. I just have high
Mm.
expectations. It always been. Every time I say it, oh, you're just trolling. He is my favorite player because I want him to prove me wrong. Because I know when he proves me wrong, there ain't no turning back. It ain't no shadow of a doubt. There ain't no doubt. There ain't no doubt because I'm not getting Tannehill again. I just can't. I'm not getting Tannehill. But I support Tua. I just call it how it is, and it's a part of my persona now. People have created that, not me.
So
They've
his
created my persona.
is his prove it to you winning a single playoff game.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Tua doesn't even have to win to prove it to me.
So
When
what
we lose, don't contribute to the loss. If we lose, so look at all the big game losses. We all can be honest and agree he contributed to them.
Okay,
He
then
had that
but
1, 2, and
wouldn't you
3
say for the wins he's also contributed? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, but what matters most? What matters most? The big moments, the playoffs. We need
Okay,
you
so
in those moments.
in the Bills game,
Mhm.
wha what was that score this last game? Our second
He
time playing them
he
up in Buffalo. What was this final score? You don't
yeah.
think that
He
the
didn't contribute
defense
to the loss.
the defense couldn't get a stop. We would have won that game. And
Butterfingers.
then second off, Tyler Bass, shockingly, he makes a field goal, of course, right,
Yeah.
against us. But that that win, if we would have won that game, would that have been your prove it moment? Because Tua did nothing there. The
Anytime
defense couldn't
Tua
get a stop.
Anytime Tua can beat the Buffalo Bills makes me feel amazing. But again, to prove it to me is this. By the way, Tua really didn't contribute to that loss, to your point, right? He didn't contribute to that loss. He did what he needed to do in that loss,
He
right?
outplayed Josh
But
Allen.
Yeah, but it's not about the one-offs. We always can point any quarterback, you can point to the one-offs. Make it a part of your game. And I'm not asking you to do
You
it
want
every
it to
time.
be a
I'm not,
pattern.
yeah, like
Make it
make
a
it a part. Like
norm.
if you got five,
Consistency.
Yes,
Consistent.
that
I'll
word.
go a step further. I'll go a step further. If you got 5 games against great competition at the end of the season and it all matters, like we're about to have, right? 5 games, right? And Tua is really over in a lot of those. Okay, he's like over. But let's say I don't need him to go 5-0. I don't need him to go 4-0. I don't need him to play well in 3. Give me 2 at least in that stretch. Give me 2. And we could lose all 5, but give me a lot of those where you were fighting, just like that Bills game. You were showing your value and the team around you let you down. I need the team to, and I'm not talking about the one off in week 2 or week 8. I'm talking about in the back end of the schedule when the rubber meets the road. This is where you got to start
You
winning to
guys
get
step up
in.
when he gets on the field and say the game's not over yet because Tua's getting on the field.
Kind
It's
of
like
like
that
how
same
people
feel.
fear it's
That's
what
what
people
makes,
fear with Patrick Mahomes. It's like,
Yes, that
gosh,
that part.
yes,
It's
darn
that
it,
that's
part.
what
we
the
gave him
people get.
45 seconds.
I
Uh-oh.
Like,
agree.
look at
People
the Bills when they played the Chiefs. They
Josh
were
Allen was
4th
on the
and
bench.
what, but they had to go for it because of the clock, and they couldn't allow Patrick to get the ball back at that time because they knew they
and
Push
they
had to
hard.
they left too
go for
much.
it. The
13
team
seconds.
had to go for it. I want teams to start playing us that way, to start thinking of Tua that way.
Eggs,
We
that's it. You hit it right on the head. And let me say this: we're gonna I'm a guess. Maybe I'm wrong, but we're gonna disagree on this. I believe they say it's Tua a franchise quarterback. I
Yes.
still say no. You guys, I'm sure, will say yes.
Yes.
Because my definition of a franchise quarterback, is a guy that no matter what the circumstance or situation is, you know that you got a chance to win. That's why we're sitting here saying
I
it's
do, but
cold.
that's
It's
because I
cold
do
game,
I
good
feel
do
that
believe
way.
that.
competition.
I do
Huh,
feel that way. So that's
I don't.
why. You're
Well,
just
he's built in me. Cold games, good competition late in the season. I have nothing
did
to
you
go off of to make me feel that way.
you're saying Tua can't play in a cold game.
No, he can't play good football when the weather is 30, 40 or below. He can't. He
All right.
hasn't.
All right, hold on.
He
Hold on.
actually hasn't.
Jameis just did his first one and he was fine.
Who was
Literally,
that?
Jameis
Okay.
is in Alabama. Winston, Jameis Winston in Cleveland. He just had his first ever snow game.
Yeah. But Tua's had like 6 cold games like this.
How do I go to my profile? Like from the app? How do I
Mm.
like
Twitter?
Yeah. Oh,
I
click on
just go on
profile.
the
Okay, listen. Literally just pulled up all of his stats. He had a 20-degree game. Some of his best stats he's ever put up.
Mm.
All right, here we
Well,
go. 29 degrees. He was 17 for 30, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 104 rating.
and when was that?
This was 2022.
And what month? I'm just
I don't
curious. And
have the
what
month.
I'm trying to figure out what month and what game was that? What game?
Here's this was 20 I didn't write the game.
Mm.
I searched it out. Like I went to the box score, checked the weather, picked
Mm.
any game 50 or below, pulled it. Because people want to say, oh,
And that
40
was
or 30
in
degrees, but 50
December?
degrees for us is cold.
And that was in December, you said?
I probably it's the second one of 2022. So there's a 38-degree game, a 29-degree game, a 45-degree game, a 53-degree game
Mm.
in 2022.
I just have to
And look,
remember what
here's
game was that.
2023, 53 degrees. 53 degrees to us South Floridians is cold. I don't want to hear any of that 40.
And we won. We won that game.
I didn't put winners. I don't do win or losses because to me that's not a quarterback. You win as a team, you lose as a team. This was
Well,
somebody saying,
I was asking to see if I could remember which
"Oh
one it
yeah,
was.
I don't know."
Because
It was in 2022. I'm sure I have my
I'm
notes
trying
somewhere.
to figure.
I'll
Is it
look.
the game he had 3 fumbles?
I don't know. He was 17 for 30, 230. You know what? Let me look. It's going to drive you crazy. I'll look. I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, and yeah. Man, I really want to know what that game was.
I'm pulling it up right now. All right. How many yards? He had 234.
2
Oh, right
touchdowns.
here. It was against Buffalo, but we
Is that
lost. It was
is
week
that
14. Miami at Buffalo, 29-32.
Yeah. That was the game where
Did you guys
that's
see that they're waiving, Marcus May?
when did that
And
happen?
it, like 30 minutes ago? And
What?
following Marcus May's release, rookie safety Patrick McMorris is set to be activated off IR.
That makes me excited about
Mm.
McMorris. Also, Marcus May, funny
Bye.
story.
Didn't care about you in the beginning anyways. Just kidding. Don't do that in
I know.
there.
I think I remember what you're talking about now. I didn't know that game was 28 degrees. What I remember is that was the stretch where we got obliterated by the Chargers, then obliterated by the 49ers, and then we went toe to toe with Buffalo, and then
Yeah.
obliterated by Green Bay.
Right, and that was
So
the game that Tua, we believe, got concussed.
the Green Bay
Also,
game.
this is
No,
another sidebar here because
Oh, you
now
said
I
I'm
think
early.
talking
he
on
got
Twitter.
concussed in the Buffalo game, went to Green Bay with a concussion.
Oh, yeah, that was okay, what are we gonna do? What's the deal with Shaq Barrett? What's happening there? He wants to come back.
And now,
Does
isn't
he?
that funny? Yes.
Does he want to play for the Dolphins though?
He has contractual rights, but listen, when he did
Apparently
he
he
went on
said
when he went on Kay Adams, he said he would come out of retirement, but he would only be coming out of retirement to go back to Tampa because he
Yeah.
loves
So
that team, he loves that city, everything they did for him and his
Oh,
family.
how
yeah, I
coincidental.
remember that. He did say that, and
On
I don't
Kay
know if
Adams, Up
Tampa.
and Adams show.
I don't know if Tampa's still in a position where they can make a playoff run where they'd be interested at this point.
But also he has contractual rights to us, so he can't
Yeah,
unless
but
we said no.
yeah, but
We'd have to turn him away first.
Greer, well, that's a problem. That's a problem twofold that we're not talking about in that situation. If he wants to be reinstated, which he was, he is a Miami Dolphin.
Correct.
That salary cap starts. Bam. Dolphins, he's on your roster. So Greer don't like that problem because we basically threw that
Why they
contract
cut.
away. Yeah, he didn't like that. Well, I got to go look at the contract. Was there guaranteed money on it? That's what I'm on a
I want to
pursuit
see
for
a
as a
Super Bowl
fan.
before I die, please.
That's it. That's
Please,
it. It's been a
Miami.
long time. 72.
I
That's
wasn't
over
even born.
50 years. Exactly.
I couldn't even drive a car the last time we won a playoff game. And I have
Wow.
a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old daughter now.
Me too.
I
Wow.
was her age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we got to do something quick, and it has to be with this team right here. And we got this year and maybe next year to do it. If not, this all failed. It all failed. If we don't do anything this year and next year, it all failed.
The rebuild
But
was
we're focusing on one game at a time, baby.
Thursday
Which is
night.
Thursday night. Thankful
Thursday
and
night.
blessed.
all right. Do you guys want to end up the show with score predictions?
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Who's first?
Well, I just did mine the other night because I realized I originally had us at 31 points, but then I remembered that it's a nighttime game. So I dropped it down to 26 and I have it 26-24. I don't like that we're giving Green Bay 24 points, but because that they've put up their average is like 23 points and it's a nighttime game. It's in the cold. I don't want it to be 24 points, but my score prediction is 26-24.
Nice.
Us.
I guess I'm gonna go with 27 Miami, 24 Green Bay. Tua gets 2 touchdowns. We run one in and we get 2 field goals to get to 27. Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal. We win the game. I think that's how it's gonna go down. This is gonna be remember that cold weather. This is still really good points being the weather. We're going to edge this one out and we're going to win and we're going to be proud and we're going to believe that we could be anybody on the rest of the schedule at that point. That's the hope. That's where I'm at.
I think 28-25 Dolphins.
28-25. Man, oh man. So we 3 unanimous. Dolphins are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't?
And if they don't, we move to the next one.
We move.
Not
That was our one
No.
loss. That was our
Nope.
one loss that we could afford without any
See, and this
No,
is where
we
we
stopped
differ.
right there. Yep, we stopped right there, dog. Why did we lose? No, no, we can't lose this one. This is what I'm talking about. We're not
But
gonna lose, though.
listen,
That's the good thing.
TD, I had this game as a loss before the season even started. So I
Me
have it as a
too, but
win
then I
now.
noticed how they've been playing and how we've been playing recently.
Right.
Come on, this got to
And
be the
that's
moment.
and exactly what I said last night. If we lose this game, which we're not going to, knock on wood, don't put that energy out there. It's because we did it to ourselves. Not because they beat us.
As
We
we
beat
always
us.
do. All right, we're gonna win this one though. We're gonna
Yeah.
be proud. You're gonna see some great tweets. You're gonna see the best tweets you've ever seen in your life.
You better not be hating.
No, well, we better win.
All right, let's make it. You want to make a little let's do a little bet.
Outro. A
Let's
bet.
do a little
Let's
bet.
do it. Let's do it. Hey, be careful.
All right, Mary. If we win this game, TD, are we going to say he needs to buy do you have a Tua jersey already?
I have a custom Tua jersey that cost me $30.
Did you buy it off like Temu or something?
Yeah, it says Tagovailoa on the front collar. So until he wins a playoff game, I haven't bought a real authentic jersey.
All right, well, what about we win this game, you buy a Tua jersey?
And Tua gets no interceptions.
No interceptions. We win this game.
And Tua plays well.
And Tua plays well.
So what's the standard?
Well.
Again, we all know what well means. I mean, come on. If he plays well. See, playing well,
when we get there.
He could throw an interception and play well. Remember that Baltimore game, 6 touchdowns? He threw 2 picks. He looked horrible in the first half, but he still played well overall.
Okay.
So it's not like that. We know when he plays well. Okay. And winning the game is a big part of him playing well, because that's what I've come to learn. When he plays well, we rarely ever lose.
Right.
So I hope I'm getting the Tua jersey.
Although
I'll wear it proud.
I believe
if they lose,
well for
I
Cardinals
will wear.
And Bills, we still lost.
If they lose, I'll wear the cheese head to school on Monday.
Perfect. And I got one I might have one for Brittany if she wants to accept the challenge.
All right, I'll accept.
If we lose and Tua doesn't play well, you have to go get one of those $30 jerseys with Skylar's name on it.
Absolutely not. That is $30 I could put towards my daughter.
And you had to put on it better than Tua. Oh my gosh, that would be. Oh, you don't have that kind of faith? Come on.
No, wait, before we go.
I refuse to do that.
Listen
Give me
to
something
this.
else.
I knew you wouldn't.
The Buffalo Bills can clinch the AFC East with a win on Sunday versus San Francisco. Oh, you know that already.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about seeing Buffalo in the first round. 2 seed against 7 seed. Let's go to Buffalo. Let's get it done. Tua MVP. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I actually think Saquon Barkley should take the way Saquon's been playing. He should be MVP. But that's
so why shouldn't Tua be MVP if he finishes out the season lighting it up like he is now?
I'm saying today,
I know
right
people
now.
will laugh at that. Yeah, right now.
He should though.
I mean, right
and
now.
They've really seen what
was it
like without him.
Yeah, who was it? Somebody on ESPN, I think, said that
Dan Orlovsky.
I don't think it was Dan. I think it was somebody else. It might have been Dan. That Tua really should be considered the MVP because we've never seen a player that is more valuable to the team than Tua. And the fact that he's been playing lights out.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that's subjective because your terms of valuable can be measured in different ways because
just look at our offense. Look at our offense performance as a whole when Tua is not on the field versus when he is on the field.
But that's
not subjective. That is cemented right there.
That's not saying much in my opinion, and here's why. He looks better in this system for McDaniel, but who's to say the system is good enough overall?
Who's to say that it's Tua that makes it
that Tua elevates does make this system.
Tua elevates everyone around him.
I mean, it's a give and take. It just depends on who you play. So again, let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. We'll find out.
Like even Devon Achane stats are better with Tua.
We'll see. You know, a different game plan on defense with and without Tua. I get it. But again, the competition, who you play matters. Who
I
you play
agree.
matters.
I
So
agree.
we're gonna find out on
How you
Thursday
play
night,
matters more.
And
which is true, but it's still a combination. It matters more, but it's still a combination. So we'll find out Thursday. And when we find out Thursday, I think a lot will speak for itself. And hopefully you guys can visit me over on my channel at some point.
yes,
That would be pretty cool. I think people would love you
you
guys.
let us know and we'll work it
We're
out.
Absolutely.
there.
We're there.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank y'all
Alrighty.
so much for having me. Sure.
Thank you so much for coming. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, it
It
was.
was.
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Gobble
To a time.
gobble. Fins
To
up,
a
baby.
time.